Thank you again for an extraordinary discussion this morning, and we're very grateful that you've been able to join us at this event. Can you address an area of acute need globally that you think has received insufficient attention, and what you think ought to be done over the next several years to address it?
Well, one is there's a lot of discomfort, there's a lot of question marks about the way world economy has been designed. It's not fulfilling the expectations of the people. Major problems remains unresolved, and we get into more and more problems as we go on. And the crisis that we never thought will happen, and it happened and continues. So in that context, it's good to bring people together to share ideas and thoughts. Ideas breed ideas, and finally to show a way how to redesign the system, how to rework our everyday life and how you do that. So this is a good initiative to bring people together into discussions of the crisis and the exercise of the present conceptual system. What are the shortcomings of that, how we can overcome that.
Terrific. And on that note, governments have been spending trillions of dollars annually on things like bailouts, subsidies for other high-income governments, defense spending. You alluded this morning to ways that governments can allocate capital more effectively for social business. Can you address some ways that governments globally can improve their spending to ensure that it reaches those who need their services most and are presently not receiving sufficient benefits to meet their basic needs?
One of the expectations from the government over time that we built up, all the problems that citizens have to be solved by the government. And citizens should be focusing their attention in making their personal money. They have no other job but just to carry on their own thing. That's a wrong kind of delineation of the responsibilities. That the government should solve the problems, we will be busy making money, and in the process even create problems. This is not something which will lead us to a good outcome. So why can't we share all this, share the responsibilities of solving problems together? Like government does its part and we do our part, and we learn from each other. And in the process, we solve the total problem. The whole idea is to resolve the problems rather than blame each other that we gave you the money, you didn't solve the problem, you misused the money, etc., etc. So idea of social business comes in handy in that direction, because anybody can solve problems. That's the whole purpose of social business. And one individual, any individual, it doesn't have to be a rich individual, because traditionally you think that one has to be rich so that they can put money away, give it the charities to solve problem. Today we don't need that, because in social business is the idea which is the most important thing. Money is not the important thing. If you have an idea to solve a slice of a problem that you have in your country, in your city, in your neighborhood, many people will come forward to invest in that, and that's the organizational setup that we can create, the social business fund, etc. So instead of government trying to solve everything, government can challenge the citizens, create a social business fund and say, come up with ideas. Here is the money. If you are successful, if you can convince us, we'll put the money as an investment, and you can carry on the businesses and so on and so forth. If you want to expand, we'll be very happy to expand, because that's what we want. Instead of government trying to do that, you can do it for the society and the community. So this is one way to redesign the system. Today, government job is to kind of give away money as a charity, as handouts, as a welfare payments, as transfer payments, and so on. And each year is becoming bigger and bigger. And it's very difficult to find the money to do that. So instead of that kind of role to be played by the government, we can find the solution path. Solution by activating all the citizens within the country. Not only citizens as individuals, also the companies, private companies can create social business to solve problems, and government can encourage them, government make these funds available to them, and they have their own money. to put into social business, and government can applaud them, government can give them recognition. This company has solved this problem by doing this, and we give them national recognition for doing that. And then other companies will become interested to do that.
Following up on that, can you talk more broadly about your vision for the growth of social business over the next 5 years, and what institutions like large financial firms and international NGOs who may not know how to engage with this space, what they can do to get involved?
One idea that I was proposing, that for example, Singapore economy, there's a size of the Singapore economy. And today, if you look at Singapore economy, what percentage of that economy is a social business economy? Zero, because it doesn't exist. So the idea would be in the next 5 years, if you can make 1% of Singapore economy as a social business economy, I think that's a good start. That we have done 1% of the Singapore economy as a social business economy, meaning that that 1% economy is dedicated to solving problems that Singapore has, whatever that problem is. Then you provide the leadership, how to solve the problems. And gradually, if you see this is so successful, you want to add more to it. Next 5 years, you want to make it 5% of the economy is social business economy. So there is no conflict between the social business economy and the conventional economy of profit-making economy. It's an addition to the total pie that we have. It's not taking away something from the conventional economy, it's convert it into social business economy. So it can be an addition to the total pie. So this would be a good target to achieve for every city, every country, to see how to make 1% of the economy as a social business economy in 5 years.
Thank you. Recent tragedies in the garment industry in Bangladesh and elsewhere have occasioned a discussion about the nature of labor practices in that industry, as well as more broadly. What can we do to ensure that each laborer globally is treated with dignity and respect and is provided with human rights?
The idea that I'm proposing that when the international buyers bring their orders to the producers in Bangladesh to produce shirts and other clothing, they treat it as something different from their own side. So whatever you're doing, this is your own responsibility. Instead, why don't we take it as a whole integrated ecosystem? So that everything we do, whoever is doing, is a part of that system, not a separate entity that I'm not responsible for. So that I'm responsible together. When I say I am, not means not the international buyer or something. All of us together belong to the same ecosystem. We do one thing, we ensure the building safety wherever it works. We ensure the fire safety, which are the common disaster points normally in the garment industry, and then ensure reasonable wage level, the minimum wage of these people who are working in that sector, so that they are not treated as a slave labor, they are not treated as workers in a sweatshop. In other words, they are not exploited. Sometimes Bangladesh is brought up as a case of cheapest labor. So cheapest labor doesn't mean exploited labor. So how to guarantee that we enjoy the cheapness of the labor without being exploiters in the system? So why don't you give them some dignified wage level ensured by the buyers? When buyers are ensuring, actually it's the consumers who are paying for that. So make it plain to the consumers that the shirt that we are selling to you is not made by any sweatshop. The shirt we're selling to you is not made by some slave labor. That's why our price is this. And if you want to support us, it will be wonderful. And people don't want to wear shirts or clothing made by slave labor or exploited women and so on and so forth. So they will be very happy to pay for it. And the payment extra for that slight change in the wage level to make it dignified wage level is not enormous addition to the total cost. It's a few pennies makes it all the difference. Why can't we do that and make it very transparent? Everybody knows where it is made, how it is made, who is making it. So this is one. And also we can add other benefits to it. Like I'm proposing the special tag, say happy workers tag, meaning that the workers who made this thing, they're enjoying these benefits, and that's why you are paying a little extra. Like the fair trade products, where fair trade products, it costs you a little bit more because they ensure all those things are not done to harm the system. So this is a happy worker stack. In the happy worker stack, you ensure that their children will have good education, they will have health care for themselves, retirement benefit for themselves, so that they will make a decent life for themselves. So these are things easily can be included, but somehow we so get carried away making money, we forgot that so many millions of young girls working in that thing, they are in a helpless situation. Nobody is listening to them, and they are squeezed and squeezed and squeezed for no reason. It's just a matter of addition of few extra pennies into it makes all the difference to their life.
Professor Yunus, it's been extraordinary having you at this event, and we can't thank you enough. Can you share a few thoughts on the forum and what investing in inclusion means to you?
Well, the forum is an excellent idea, that bringing people together. You don't have to agree with everybody, but the people have the ideas, and ideas lead to more ideas, and something that you never thought of suddenly comes to you. And say, hey, this is what I never heard of it. Let me concentrate on this. Maybe I should do something about it. And a lot of things keep happening in that way. So bringing people together is always good. Even the person who's saying things in completely different way than you believe in, doesn't matter. That way you test it out, what your belief is, what your thought is, and what their thought is, and so on. So this is important for that, and particularly in a climate of uncertainties about the world economic order. This is very important, that we have to find a way to get out of this structure that we are built, we are stuck in. We are kind of imprisoned into that system. How to release ourselves from that imprisonment and start thinking freely, challenging the things which were never challenged before, because it brought so much money for so many people. But we forgot many people are left out. They are fell through the crack. We never even paid attention to it. Now this gives us a chance to look at that. That's the inclusion part of it. Nobody should be left out from the system, and system should work for everybody. Now the system doesn't work that way. It works only for the privileged people. If you look at the institution, if you look at the policies, you'll see these are in the name of all the people. Actually, it works only for the privileged people, not for the rest of the people.
You've had exceptional success starting a cell phone company in Bangladesh when you were advised that it was almost impossible and represented a poor market opportunity. And you've discussed in your work the extent to which technology can be used for poverty alleviation and sustainable development. Can you talk about how technology can be combined with innovative financial solutions to help lift people out of poverty and provide them with basic services and dignity, and how that can be promoted in the next several years?
I've always been promoting the idea of technology being the Aladdin's lamp. You read in Arabian Nights, Aladdin's lamp, you touch it and the genie comes out of it, and you tell the genie to solve the problem that you have, and genie solves it for you. I said in today's world, technology is playing that role, or has the capacity to play that role. You literally, physically touch it, and the digital genie comes out of it, say, what can I do for you? And if you look at the mobile phone, for example, it's a good example of that. Mobile phone is just like Aladdin's lamp. You touch it, and it happens. And you don't know how many other things which you don't have on that icon yet can also happen. Simply you create your mind in that direction. For example, all the healthcare can be provided by a mobile phone completely. If you can touch an icon and find out the weather condition in some far-flung city for 7 days, 10 days, 1 month, whatever it is, gives you all the weather forecast and so on. That same mechanism, same tool can give you the body temperature too, and your pulse rate, your heartbeats, or whatever it is. All body information can be transmitted by, after all, this is just a transmitter. So you connect this with your body information, and this could be communicated to doctor, wherever the doctor is. So you don't have to go to a clinic or go to a big machine to examine your body or something. It's all done there. Already some of those things are happening. You can do echocardiogram with this mobile phone. Just check, hand it, just hold it, and all your echocardiogram information is recorded, and you can send it back wherever you want to do that. So this is the possibilities. Once you can bring healthcare, income opportunities, banking facilities, marketing, name it. That's why I'm saying this is Aladdin's lamp. It's a question of what you want to put into it and make it happen, so that people don't have to remain isolated the way it is, because that isolation and separation which made this all the trouble that we see today. So that can be overcome by the technologies. Technology is something which will change our lives completely.
Well, I wanted to thank you again, Professor Yunus. This has really been an extraordinary conversation, and it's truly been an honor for us to hear your discussion of your life's work and your vision of how this will go forward.
Thanks a lot.